Welcome back, and now in this episode and this segment of the Nile Cruise, we're going to talk about the global phenomena of the unplanned global growth. This phenomena is not only here in Egypt, but actually it's in all Africa. With our guest today, we're going to talk about what are the solutions for this issue, and we are joined with Dr. Wafa Nadim, Professor of Architecture Engineering. Hello, Doctor, and welcome to our show.
Thank you. Welcome to you.
You have a project working on regarding the informal settlement, of course, in Egypt. So, can you tell us more about this project?
Okay. Before elaborating on this project, I would like to give an overview what we wanted to do here at the university. The main challenge that the students, generally speaking, are facing, not only here in Egypt, but all over the world, is the gap between the knowledge gap between what the students learn, what happens really in practice. Okay, so the challenge that we wanted to face here at the university and in our department, we wanted to prepare our students to be able, when they go to practice, they can start immediately to work. So, and this came from the concept that I firmly believe in. It's a Chinese saying that I see and I forget, I hear and I remember, I do and I understand. So doing is a very essential aspect in learning and in teaching. And this is where this contribution came in. So there was an opportunity to apply for funding, where we looked to one of the national challenges facing Egypt, which is the informal settlements and informal development. And as we all know, that there is this national plan to combat and eliminate the unsafe areas here in Egypt. So we started to look into how we can do that and how should our future housing look like. We don't have the luxury of space. We cannot build huge spaces, and we cannot afford to do that. I mean, the people who are going to live in, they cannot afford to live in there. So here came the idea to linking research with education and practice. So we started to collaborate and communicate with the government, the Informal Settlement Development Fund, to pick up one of the areas that is part of the national strategy to eliminate in the coming 2 or 3 years. And we encourage our students to participate. So what the students basically did, they had like a brief introduction in the Informal Settlement Development Fund on how they work, how they collect data, and how they can use this data to design the future housing. And we have called for a competition, a local design competition, and it was sponsored by the university to see how do the young professionals think and how can they propose a new solution for informal settlements in Egypt. So the students, they started to collect the data. They went to these 2 informal areas that were selected by the Informal Settlement Development Fund. They talked to the people, they collected the data, they documented the data, and they prepared the documentation for the competition. So they went through a real practice that happens, that the government and the country itself does in order to upgrade. So they had the idea and got some experience how to do that. Then came the opportunity for them to design. So apart from the competition, in one of the courses, the building technology course, they started to think about designing this new housing. How should they look like based on the information that they got? And the other thing is, the challenge is, should it be just purely housing, or can it be like a mixed use? Because what we see is, even if the government is providing purely residential housing, what happens is they convert it into commercial. So the idea was, what if we think from the upfront, if the unit that we're going to provide would allow you to have this mixed use? And the concept is live-work concept. So how can this unit be provided? And this is linked to the research project where we collaborate with a German university in Germany, and they would add the technology part of it. How can this house, if we're talking about integrating renewable energy, how to deal with waste in the future, etc. So how this housing unit could look like. And this is what we're aiming to work on in the coming few years.
Of course, these informal settlements here in Egypt, they are growing almost every day. It's like a small colony. It's an unsafe areas. But the people living there, they have no other alternative. And of course, they cannot afford to live in another houses or else they could have gone. But at the same time, we cannot claim that they are happy there, but at the same time, they feel themselves safe there. So what are the temptations that you can give to these people in order to leave these informal settlements and go to your project?
Okay, there are a number of issues that you have mentioned here. Because this is what the people promote, that the people are happy in the informal settlements. I wouldn't say this as a general comment, because we went there and we spoke to the people. The majority are not happy. They're thinking about their children, okay? Their children cannot invite their friends to where they live because they think it's not suitable for them, okay? There are two or more than two ways that you can deal with it. Either you upgrade the same area that they're living in, if it's possible, if it's safe. But if it's an unsafe area, definitely you have to move them away, okay? So you either upgrade the area within, while they're there, they just, you resettle them for a while till you upgrade it and then they come back. Or if it's unsafe, you have to move them somewhere else, okay? The affordability is one of the dimensions that you have mentioned. And this is a research project that we're working on. How can you provide a housing unit that adapts to the future needs and can still be affordable? And this is a research project that we are working on. And there are different ways. It's not only about money financially, but how actually you build this and how this unit acts, the flexibility and adaptability of the house. This can help adapt the unit. And if the people themselves are part of this project and they give you the input, I don't want to say it's 100%, but the probability that they would accept it is going to be huge.
Well, Dr. Wafa Nadim, Professor of Architecture Engineering, thank you very much for joining us and welcome once again to Nile Cruise.
Thank you very much and thank you for your time.
Thank you. And now we are moving to a break, so please stay tuned.